Hello, everybody, and welcome to the 5 Tips and Tricks for Careers in Athletics. I'm your host, Dr. Maury Mosovitz, with my all-time most favorite, most wonderful, most stupendous, amazing, I don't know, what other words
it's
to
enough.
use.
It's good. You're good. You're good.
Jen Albanese. Hello, Jen.
Hello, Maury. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the podcast.
So we have an amazing guest today.
We always have an amazing guest.
I know,
they're
but
all so fantastic.
They're so great. Adam Geisler, who I've known for since I was a child, done a lot of stuff in sports, but now is a CEO of a company that works with franchising youth sports programs. The foundation program with Soccer Stars for him, and he has now brought that across over 300 franchises, and shockingly, almost 500,000 children a year are a part of his program.
Incredible.
So
what an impact. Great. What an impact. That is so cool and such an interesting part of sports that I don't think people realize is such a huge thing. And starting our athletes and kids and teaching them and
if you're a sports management student or someone that just really likes it, this is a way that you can get into the business, focus on sports, take your passion and put it out there, but have a community to work through. And I honestly don't think you could have a better community and leader of that community than Adam. So once you guys hear him, you're going to be blown away.
I know he's so passionate. That is the perfect word for him. So passionate. So it's be a good conversation for sure.
So today you wanted me to bring up a topic because you were giggling at me during our meeting, and we were talking about bands on the quad. I think that's how it came up. Well, I first said, this is what started. I said that we should use AC/DC's
Thunderstruck
at all our games. And I don't put out too many marketing suggestions. I feel
Maury, hold on. Out, but it's okay.
If you take the 20 years we've been working together, yes, True. There's a lot, but it's not every day I'm coming to your office and being this is what you need to do. So I had one little idea, and then we were talking about, okay, could AC/DC really play at one of the games?
I think a majority of them have passed away, which we started to look up, and yes, their guitar player, Angus Young, my brother's ultimate idol passed away. He's a phenomenal guitar player. And, so they don't they obviously still, they exist, but it's all not the original members.
So then we went farther back into our history. And when Jen and I first started doing our jobs, for some reason, there was a promotion through a radio sponsor that brought over Mini Kiss. And I've always thought about this for years, is there were people that were little people that were cover bands for Kiss. And it was this whole thing. And we had a stage.
It was awesome.
It was a huge production. So I said, do you think there's a little AC/DC? And you said no. And that's kind of how. Yes. And I just was trying to take it all the way. But we were trying to encourage our staff, maybe Little Kiss needs to come back because it was such a big hit. It's been over 15 years since Little Kiss was here.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. It's so funny because we always say we want bands out on the quad, which is our pregame area before football, to try to liven it up and do more stuff and we usually target local bands, but this one time we did it, we had they're a national act that literally performs like Kiss. They dress like Kiss. They do the makeup like Kiss. They do everything.
They literally perform. They're a cover band.
Yeah. And we looked them up, and they're they do shows across the country. They're in LA, they're in Vegas. So look them up, Mini Kiss. They're fantastic. And if you're listening, Mini Kiss, we'd love to have you back at Syracuse because you were fantastic and people loved it. So, not an ad for Mini Kiss, but would love it to be.
They came into it.
You never know.
That's the way it works. We always drive into it. But honestly, somebody that probably would love Mini Kiss, knowing his energy and excitement, would be Adam.
100%.
So from there, we are going to get to Adam right after these messages.
Are you a loyal 5 Tips and Tricks podcast listener? If not, now is the time to start. Get all your info and fun content on the podcast by following us on all our social channels at @AthCareerPod. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast is a part of Athletic Career Consulting. Make sure to reach out to us. The one-stop shop for everything is our website, www.athcareer.com. Remember, Follow and like us on @AthCareerPod, rate and review us, and get all your info at www.athcareer.com. Okay, everybody, welcome back. Maury, would you like to introduce our guest today?
For sure. Today's episode, we dive into a story of a leader who has spent his entire career shaping the world of sports, performance, and youth development on a global scale. He helped a legacy brand evolve, fueling explosive startup growth and managing some of the most iconic names in athletic culture. From guiding a 118-year-old fitness institution through international expansion to scaling hyper-growth sports performance companies from 3 million to 50 million to overseeing a portfolio of global sports brands representing over $1 billion in retail sales, our guest has done it all. But this most transformative work began when he turned his attention to the next generation. Today, he leads the country's fastest growing youth sports franchising platform, one built on a simple belief: every child is an athlete. Under his leadership, his organization has doubled revenue in 6 years, growing to more than 360 units and 220 owners, and now impacts over 400,000 kids every single year through brands like Soccer Stars, Amazing Athletes, and TGA. Driven by a first mindset of a mission to positively shape children's lives through foundational sports experiences, he continues to push this movement forward, one youth athlete at a time. Please welcome Adam Geisler. Welcome.
Wow, what an intro.
Yeah. Listen, I had to pull all the stops.
Awesome. That was awesome. That's a lot to live up to.
It's all in your bio, so I had to throw it all in there.
I love it. I absolutely love it. Very well said.
Adam, thank you so much for doing this. You've known me for a long time. I was a little kid when you first met me, probably. And then now it's been probably over 25, 30 years. So
it's a full circle moment. And again, probably, I would not say I'm the best athlete that I know. I love sports. I'm certainly very passionate about it. But I'd say our passions probably outweigh our talents, and so that probably works pretty well for all of us.
100%.
I was gonna say that's why we all work in sports, and we're not actually playing any sports, so it's okay.
The manager role was the best role for me.
Absolutely, too funny. This is great.
Exactly.
Well, Adam, we'd love to hear your tips. We think you're going to have some great things to share with everybody. So let's start with the first one.
Yeah. So for me, I thought a lot about this, and I appreciate you guys, giving me a chance to talk about the things that I've learned, my experience. But the number one thing that I always think through is I'm a big fan of the energy bus, right? The positive energy that you give out, it comes back to you. And so in sports, in life, if you are positive, you're motivating, the result that you get on the other side of it. I mean, just think about me just talking about it and smiling, all of a sudden you can see your faces, right?
Yeah.
And it's such an important trait and skill to have, because we always have something heavy that can weigh us down. We always have things in life, but if you constantly focus on bringing that positive energy, the person on the other side is going to bring it, and all of a sudden everybody gets lifted. And it has such a big impact on the way I approach my life, the way I approach business, my family. And I also listen, and we all have those moments where we're going to hit those low energies. We're not on there. We're not on there all the time where we want to be. And I try to surround myself with people who are going to get on the bus or really lift me up. Right. So that's really important. And to me, that is a big just skill in life that I try to teach all of my employees, but not just by teaching them or the franchisees or partners that we work with, but also give it so you receive it.
Right. You put positive in, positive out. Like you gotta fuel a tank well, or it's not gonna have good results.
Yeah, and we've got this business. You mentioned a little bit Youth Athletes United, where every kid's an athlete, and so a lot of what we do is we're teaching kids we're teaching them fun while learning the fundamentals of sport. Yeah. Right. So it's really, really important. So number one, as a coach, if you're going to teach that business, you've got to just be fun, because you're going to forget, the skill to teach that specific day. When you're going and meeting with directors of a preschool or an after school, and we're trying to sell this program, we tell the franchisees that are now these owners, these mayors of youth sports in their town, the first thing you do when you walk in, just smile. Right. And you will change the dynamic of everything you're going through, because, not everybody's great at sales or great at going through things. But if you have a positive attitude and you're having fun, you can get through just about anything in life.
100%. 100%. I think it's, because every day isn't, wonderful. But if you start it in a positive way and you show up with a smile on your face, like that's going to, that's going to be contagious to all the other people that are around you. And then that's just going to lift them up. And yeah, every day is, sometimes there's challenges. I mean, we all go through them, but if you try to have that positive outlook, it's only going to help everything get better, and be able to look at things in a more positive light and come up with solutions easier. And people are going to want to work with you more. Because if you're just kind of like a stick in the mud, like people don't want to be around that. Somebody smiling and happy and positive, everybody wants to be on that person's team. So that's a really good one.
Awesome. Well, we started off with a great one. What do you got for number 2?
Let's go to number 2. So, having that positive energy is great, but there's also in getting all these traits from sports. We've all been through it. It's that relentless attitude, right? So one of the things that we really love about the business that we're in is we can impact a lot of kids. And so every single place that we go, we should be able to run our brand soccer stars, amazing athletes, or TGA, which is tennis, golf, and pickleball. So we want it everywhere. So when we walk into a school or a preschool or a Parks and Rec, a lot of where we're running our programs, and somebody says no, we don't give up. We figure out, well, what does no mean, right? Does no mean not right now? Does it mean you don't have a budget? Or maybe you just don't understand the business very well. Or maybe it's not, maybe it's no today, but I'm going to come back in 3 months. I'm going to show you what I can do. And maybe we'll turn that no into a maybe, turn that maybe into a yes. And so, in sports, you want to have that relentless attitude, right? You're constantly trying to improve, trying to get better. You're going to win some, you're going to lose some, but you just don't give up. Take that grit, that gut, everything you have, put it into business, put it into something that can really have an impact. And so we talk to our franchisees, because we coach up our franchisees. And for those who don't know what a franchisee is in our business is somebody who is buying a curriculum, buying into our brand and basically a territory to basically be the mayor of youth sports in their town. I kind of talked about it earlier. And what that means is they're going to go to a preschool and after school, Parks and Rec, and they're going to run an educational sport program. And is all what we do. Everything is a coach-led, curriculum-based, curated curriculum where we're teaching kids how to have fun with fundamentals with sport. And so having that ability to constantly just get more opportunities to impact more kids, you have to have that relentless attitude, because this is a door-to-door connection, right? And it's a very personal connection. So if you are not good at sales, or you're not good at rejection, or you're not good at constantly following up and making sure that we can get to the end goal, and it's not because of the money they generate. Money is a wonderful byproduct of changing kids' lives through sports. It's about the impact that we want them to have. And if we don't have franchisees that are constantly going out there trying to impact kids, then they're not aligned with our vision and mission. And so having that relentless attitude it's hard to teach. A lot of people have it, but you can. Right. And it's just getting people focused on habits, right? Habits become a relentless attitude. And so we think about, in sports, practice, health, all those healthy habits. If you aren't great at getting there on your own, create that structure, create that accountability for yourself, and you can really create that relentless attitude. But some of us, we just have it. When somebody tells me no, man,
it's the biggest motivator.
Just fuels you more.
Biggest motivator, yeah.
How do I figure out how to make that a yes? And I drive people crazy about it sometimes, but I have certain things that we've had in our business that has taken me 4 years for us to do. But I can go through the string of 20 emails, phone calls, touch bases, because I care about the end result of what we're going to do is, again, having an opportunity to constantly impact kids' lives through sports. It's a big deal. And so having that relentless attitude is paramount to success.
Adam, a lot of people that listen to our podcast are students in sport management programs or student athletes and want to be their own business owner and want to go out there and do it. How do they connect with you guys and get involved and want to, be a part of what you're doing?
It's as if you read the notes that I made for myself. Next one was be a connector.
There you go.
Be a connector.
Number 3.
And it's so important. So I'll tell we have a little bit of time, right? So I'll tell the story of how did I get to where I am.
Yeah.
Right? And so for me, the first thing is, in being Syracuse and being being where you guys, having that network effect is really important.
Right.
I got my first job out of college, really my second job out of college at Everlast, to be their first marketing director in 9-year history, because my fraternity brother's father bought Everlast.
Right.
Right. It was that network that I had at George Washington University that led me to my first opportunity. And so those things became really important. Another story that I love to talk about is when I was in my early 20s, I decided that for 2 months, the month of May and June, I was going to meet with 8 to 10 people in an industry. I didn't care if they were sports, didn't care if it was entertainment, just somebody in industry. And it was LinkedIn before LinkedIn. And
Right.
I would try to schedule meetings just to learn about people's different industries and just see where it took me. So there was one gentleman by the name of Blake Gower, a really good friend of mine now. And I had our CFO of Everlast at the time said, listen, this gentleman's just very similar to you personality wise. He's in investment banking. You're kind of an entrepreneur and just, I know what you care about. Just meet with this guy. So every single May, we met at the same coffee shop for 10 years straight.
Oh my gosh.
For 10 years straight. And I knew nothing about private equity. Every time I'd be there, I'd learn about investment strategies. I mean, he'd really teach me a lot. I didn't know what I was going to get out of it, but I just kept putting into it. And so probably after, year 6, I started, okay, well, he's got access to capital. Maybe I can present some really interesting ideas. And over the period of time, I presented probably 10 really bad ideas. But
that's okay.
What I learned later in life, and again, as people are getting into this, is that I always wanted to be an entrepreneur. And I think this is really important for the people listening here. I didn't realize that I didn't have what I'd call the intestinal fortitude to start something from zero.
Yeah.
There are entrepreneurs that are truly founders, start something from zero. I could not do that. Whether it was just a little bit later stage in life, just that gut that it takes, not me. But I realized later that I could actually be an acquisition entrepreneur, get the same things that I do well, and really my strength in the people around me is we are excellent, good to great. We can take a concept that is really good and figure out how to scale it, and that became my passion. So there's a circle moment here for the story. So 8 years ago, Super Soccer Stars came up for sale. Okay, from the original founder, had been around for 20 plus years, and the way that I heard about it is one of my really good friends, who's now our CTO in the business, was on a job interview. And when he was on the job interview, they said that Super Soccer Stars was for sale. He and I always talked about just wanting to do something together. He was at a place in life and he texted me, he said, Adam, Super Soccer Stars is for sale. My response back to him was, I got it. I put together a management team of 3 other people that I wanted to work with that all were in the same place, mindset, and we built a dream team. And so we raised capital ourselves, but we couldn't do it all. We needed another, call it $10 million.
Right.
That same gentleman, Blake Gower, who I'd been meeting with for 10 years, not knowing what I'd get out of it, but just building a relationship, his investment fund, one of his partners, his kids had gone through Super Soccer Stars and saw the vision immediately. Create this platform where every kid could be an athlete, have fun while learning the fundamentals of sport. Within a week, we had a management team. We raised our own capital. We had investment capital from a private equity group that we had known for a long time. And if I hadn't been relentless, if I hadn't been a connector, and I hadn't been somebody that he was interested in just getting to know in life, none of those pieces would have come together. And so, as you're going through those journeys, these young listeners, be connected, make connections. It's so much about who you know, and then turning those things into opportunities. And for me, my life would not be that. I would not be where I am today if I didn't do that.
Yeah, I find it amazing because not only did you make connections, you made like quality connections, which I think is something that a lot of people don't think about. Like it is good to network and like know and say, hey, I know this person, but like it sounds like a lot of your success came out of like developing relationships with people over a period of years and keeping up a relationship with people. And those seem to be the people that really you get the most fruitful kind of end result with. So I think that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I think people think LinkedIn, I know you mentioned like LinkedIn before LinkedIn, like, hey, I connect with all these people and I know them on LinkedIn. I have all of these connections, but and we've said this before, it's like those interns that stay in touch with you, that keep
Yeah.
that connection, keep that dialogue open, which you did with the person you met at the coffee shop every year for 10 years. And, you never know when you needed to go back to that relationship or that
Yeah.
connection. So it's more than just that connection on LinkedIn, like you said, Maury. It's that developing those relationships, and that I loved the part where you said about don't take no sometimes for an answer. And it's like, even in whether you're looking at a job or an internship, like, yeah, maybe it's not right now for you, but keep that connection with the person you interviewed with, or keep that connection with how you connected with the person at that university or that pro sports team. You never know when something else comes up, and keeping that relationship open and not always just accepting that no, there might be another opportunity down the line. So I love how you connected those two together, like the relentless and the connector. I love that. So
It's funny, Jen, both you and I got a call for someone for an interview where they interviewed them the first time, didn't get the job. And now they're coming back to that person because they kept a relationship with them and giving them a higher job than what they originally interviewed for in the past. And it's just because one of the things the person said that was asking us for reference is like that he just was great. He's kept a relationship. He's a really strong person. So that was the first thing I was thinking about. Like you can't
exactly
break those ties. So Adam, that's awesome. Okay.
And I think
Go
just
ahead.
out on that last piece, I just do think it's really important, even for all of us, is that when you go through and you're talking about how do you build that relationship, be a connector, I find so often in life that, especially at the younger ages, that people are afraid to ask questions.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes, you don't always get those best answers in groups. You get those one-on-ones. But listen, I'm 49 years old. I've done a lot in life. I go into every conference, every meeting, every conversation trying to be a sponge and learn something new every single time. I assume I know nothing about what the other person knows, and I peel back and I dig and I just try to get those nuggets. And people know. Listen, some people are like, Adam, okay, I don't have time for questions, right? Because I'm always trying to peel back. Because we're in a franchising business where, again, you talked about earlier, where like people, we want people to reach out to us and learn. If, like, listen, even these younger people that are coming out of college, it's great. This is a great opportunity to do what you love. And it's going to dovetail into my number 4. I'm getting them, Lori.
Yeah, he does it for me. I don't have to say anything.
I know.
But it's just about asking those questions and just treat every opportunity as a moment to learn. And I do that all the time because, franchising is this wonderful industry that's been around, like the sports industry, 20, 30, 40 years.
Yeah.
And I'm learning something new every single day. My partners and I are. So I think we actually have a lot to give. We've learned a lot, but there's still a ton for us to learn. So we're always asking and receiving. But the biggest thing, Maury, is find your passion and the money will come.
Yeah.
Right. For me, I had an interesting journey, and you kind of, routed off, which, listen, it sounds like a great resume, and it is. And listen, I've loved everything I did, but man, there were times where I was really passionate, and there were a lot of years where I wasn't. And I've been really fortunate to get back to where I am today. You kind of get lucky and make luck happen.
Yeah.
But my first career at a college where I was the first marketing director in Everlast's 90-year history, I loved what I did every single day. I mean, my job out of college was to get the Everlast brand back into the boxing ring. And I was working with athletes, these boxers all over the country.
Yeah.
And it was my campus, and it was so much fun. And I did that for about 10 years until the passion ran out.
Yeah.
The company got sold, culture changed. It just wasn't the same. Then I partnered with an entrepreneur, a founder, and I wanted to see what it was like to start something almost from zero. And I learned a ton there. I was passionate about it, but it wasn't my passion. It was his passion, but it was such a great learning experience as I look back on it. But I found over time, it wasn't what got me out of bed every morning. Then I went to go work for one of the largest companies I'd ever been in. It was Authentic Brands Group. And so they were a multi-billion-dollar company. I was running a billion-dollar sports division. We had these great brands like Prince Tennis and Spider and Airwalk, a couple legacy brands. And I loved the brands, but I didn't get to have an impact. We were really taking this great IP, and we were finding really good partners to transcend the brand. But I didn't feel like I was doing any good in the world. And when this opportunity came for us to acquire soccer stars, amazing athletes in TGA, it's as if everything I've been doing in life. I have an exercise science degree. Who else has an exercise science degree, right? I'm a gym teacher by trade, by education. I've been in sports. I've been so connected through sports my whole career. And now we have this opportunity to get kids moving, physical education through sports, and we get to be their first sport experience.
Yeah.
Everything I've done has led up to this. And for the first time in my career, I don't have a job anymore. It is vision and mission driven.
Yeah.
And we have 200 plus fantastic people who are franchisees, owners of our businesses, who all wake up feeling the same way every single day. So how can you not be excited and motivated when you work with all these people? And again, you have those bad days like everybody else, but if fundamentally you believe in what you're doing and it can have an impact on the world, because I don't know how to not work. My wife hates it. My kids hate it. It's not in my DNA. I work. But if I'm going to work, I want to have a purpose, and I want to have an impact on this world, on this earth, and we can change lives through sports. That is our job. That is our mission.
Awesome.
And the money, again, it's a wonderful byproduct of this positive impact on kids through sports. But I don't care about the money. I love what I do, and the money will come.
Yeah. It's awesome.
I mean, we can hear it in your voice. That passion is like, you can't even, it's hard to describe it. You just, the way you talk, you can hear it and how you explain it. And that's the only way when you're going to wake up every day and not feel like you're going to work, is if you have that passion. So that's such a good example for other people and everybody that's listening. Like, that's how it should feel, with what you're doing with your life. Because then you never really work a day. That's what my mom always said. If you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. And I'm like, well, that's pretty good advice. So
Well said.
Well, I think we're coming to the end. Jen, last question.
Last big one. All right, Adam. So what do you know now that you wish you knew then? So what do you know now at this point in your career that you wish you knew when you first started it?
I've been very, very fortunate. I've had some amazing roles. And what I would say to, the younger audience that is here, the thing that I really wish I knew, what I know now that I wish I knew then, is how to really, we use a sports analogy of coach up or really manage up. I did not learn that skill till almost too late in life. Being fortunate enough to be CEO now, I see it and I see what I missed. And so when I was younger, a lot of piss and vinegar. I'm very passionate, very driven. But when I had a challenge with something, I would go head to head. I had no idea how to really manage up to the person that I would report into or was working with, find a way to understand and listen to them of the things that their opinions, their ideas. Listen, I was right about a lot of stuff, but I didn't get to the end result of what I wanted to, and really understand the person who's ahead of me is there for a reason, right? They've worked, they've earned that opportunity, and really listen to the things that they have to say, find a way where I can meet them in a middle ground, kind of get what I'm looking for, get the result that I'm looking for without the collateral damage of going head to head, and really learning how to manage up. And I try to think about my young self and how I dealt with a lot of those great CEOs and presidents that I dealt with over the years. And I look back and there were so many great skills and lessons that I got from all of them, but I did a lot of damage going through it. And I can think back, man, why did you have to approach it that way? And so I try to take that for myself when I deal with my team. One of the things that is really important to us is we have a challenge culture, right? So every single person, their opinion is important, and we can challenge each other, and the best idea wins. And if it's my idea that's winning every single time, I've done something wrong. I've built the wrong culture. And so making sure that I have a culture where everybody can have that voice, and I can allow other people to get to where they need to be, and get to the right answer for all of us. So learning from the leadership styles that I wish some of the people had that I worked with, but also just finding a better way to manage up, without the collateral damage, getting what you want, getting those results. And it's also it's a better way to live. And so I think as a lot of people go through their careers, they're going to have direct reports, whether they're bosses, whatever you want to call it, they're going to have some direct reports that they're going to have clashes with, and finding that soft skill of how to manage up, report up. Sometimes you can't always win, and that's okay too. But just finding ways to really partner with that person and learn how to move up and get the things that you the wins that you want the way that you want it.
Adam, this has been
my gosh.
awesome.
I like know the person in my mind that you're saying. I'm like, oh, I hope they're listening.
Probably not.
But no, that's so well said, and everybody can learn that. I mean, even I can learn that now, and we've been doing this for years, and you can always learn that skill to be able to communicate better with people that you report to, and even the people that report up to you. It's always a learning on both sides, but it's good to kind of have that understanding right at the beginning, because it's only going to help you as you go forward. So that's a good one. That's good.
Well,
so
Adam,
good.
Thank you for joining us. It's been awesome seeing you again. I really appreciate you doing this. So we really want to thank you and make sure people check out what you're doing, because it's amazing. And people that want to get connected with you or your franchisees, get kids involved. It's just an awesome passion. So we appreciate you being here.
Oh, yes. Thank you. It was so good to meet you, Adam, and awesome tips, and we all learned something. So thank you, and thanks everybody for listening. Make sure you're following us on all your social channels at Ath Career Pod, and listening to on all your podcast platforms, and liking and rating and reviewing, and new episodes drop every Tuesday. So thank you so much, everybody, and thanks, Adam. Bye.
Thank you guys. This was amazing.
If you like the 5 Tips and Tricks podcast, make sure to subscribe on your favorite podcast platform. You can rate and review us, including questions that may be answered on future episodes. The 5 Tips and Tricks podcast for careers in athletics is part of Athletic Career Consulting. Check us out at www.athcareer.com. Don't forget to follow and like us on your top social media platforms.